Good morning, everyone. It is Chrissy from Knittin in the Heights. It is a rainy, gloomy, incredible autumn day here in New York City. I am sitting with Kelly, with a cuppa, as she would say. She's at her kitchen table. I am luxuriating in having this cup of hot chocolate in bed. Yesterday was the day that I took everybody on the adventures for the past 2 days. We walked like 5 miles, everybody. So today, a little bit tired. Today will be a day of, just relaxing, letting Gabe do some decompression. I gave him the option to go to like a Halloween type thing today. He said he doesn't want to. He wants to do it on Halloween. I have a very exciting thing tonight that is super spooky. I'm so excited. Back in September, when we went to the Morris-Jumel Mansion, I found out they actually have ghost tours during the month of October. And so I bought a ticket for not just a ghost tour, but a ghost investigation. I'm so freaking excited. So that's tonight. Gabe's babysitter, Nikita, is coming. So she'll stay with him and get him ready for the school day, like to be ready for school tomorrow morning. So the ghost hunt is, it's not all night. It's like, I think it starts at 7 and ends at like 9:30 or so. And it's only a few blocks from my house. So it's going to be pretty easy peasy. So yeah, I'm very excited about this. I am looking forward to see. I'm hoping that, I can actually capture some video of the actual ghost hunt itself, if they let me. If not, what I will do is I will do some outside footage of the mansion before we go in, and I might pull some footage from when Gabe and I previously did, and I will talk about what I experienced no matter what. You guys got to see what this is all about. Yeah, just not sure what their policy is on the videoing of the investigation itself, so I'll find that out tonight, I guess. Yeah, super excited. So I'm just gonna chill today and do a little bit of cleaning. It needs to happen. Anyhow, so I'll see you guys in a little bit. I just wanted to pop on one more time while I'm working on the gusset of my sock. I was just thinking about this. I just checked my Knittin in the Heights Gmail account to see if our prize winner has gotten in touch. And I haven't received an email yet, Rebecca. If you've sent it to me, can you just double check the email address you sent it to? I'd love to get your yarn on its way to you. So in spelling the email address in Knittin, there's no G. So it's Knittin, and then the Heights. Okay. So anyway, I'm going to put the link down below. So if it's easier for you to just click on a computer or on your phone to send me an email that way, I would love to get this yarn to you. It's waiting for you to make it into something beautiful. Anyhow, yeah. So I'm going to get back to watching. Now I'm watching Allie from Little Drops of Wonderful. I feel so bad. She feels terrible. I hope she feels better soon. Seriously. Because I'm sure that does not feel great. Anyhow, yeah, I'm going to get back to some knitting and some watching some podcasts. Hey everybody, so I'm heading to the Morris-Jumel Mansion. It's about 6:30. It is super dark out and kind of spooky actually. I'm going to toss this side. And hope to God this person doesn't run this light and kill me. New York City. Anyhow, not sure if I'm going to be able to take video. I was looking at their website and they are pretty specific about like ghost hunts specifically and videoing in the mansion itself during ghost hunts. So we're going to see. I'm sure they'll tell me yay or nay right off the bat. If yes, I will definitely show you what we get up to. If nay, then I will tell you some of the stories, and I will definitely tell you all the ghost stories associated with the mansion.
away from it, it will not.
And the lights light up, and there are different to contact the souls that are hopefully still here. And now perhaps we can.
Just a few things about this house. This house, the Morris-Jumel Mansion, is the oldest mansion in New York City. It is, it has an incredible history. So let's start with the fact that it predates the American Revolution. The people that owned the house were very wealthy, and they were slave owners. So there were enslaved people on the property. The woman, the first woman who was the mistress of the house, Mrs. I think her name is Anne Morris, I could be wrong on that, but her last name is Morris. She knew General George Washington before he was General George Washington, and so did her husband. I believe before he met Martha, he was very interested in being with this woman. It's one of the reasons they think that the house survived, because it was occupied during the Revolution by both the British and the Americans. So that's why they think the house did survive that, is because she knew both sides. During the Revolution, for the Battle of Harlem Heights, General George Washington actually stayed in the home, directed the battle from there. The house was later bought by Jumel and his wife, Eliza, who Eliza lived in the home for many, many years. She, after her first husband died in a carriage riding accident, she became the wealthiest woman in New York for sure, and possibly in the Americas, or in North America, or America, United States of America at that time. And she lived there for a very, very long time. So yeah, the house has a really interesting history. Anyway, her second husband was Aaron Burr, who was the vice president of the United States at one point. He's the guy that shot Hamilton. Yeah, and it's just one of these places in New York that just is steeped in history. One of the people that worked for Eliza Jumel was Anne Northrop. Anne Northrop was the wife of the man who wrote the book 12 Years a Slave. Her husband had disappeared, and Eliza, she was an incredible cook, and so Eliza brought her down, and that's when her husband was captured and sold into slavery. So yeah, this house just has so much history to it. Yeah, it's just a fascinating place to visit. So before we get into the investigating, I thought just having some of that context, because as we go through some of the spaces, some of these people are mentioned. Eliza, did that story make you angry? So this is Chrissy from the future. I'm just popping on now because I wanted to share one of the stories that happened at this stage when we were investigating the dining room. So the tour guide was telling a story about Eliza Jumel. In her later years, she may have had some dementia. And when this story was being told, it was about her leaving out dirty plates in the dining room that people had previously eaten off of, and people came to visit her and they were like covered in like dust and still the old food, and people were really concerned about her. Well, the REM pod in the other room was going off, and I had this very strong feeling that Eliza really just didn't like that story. She didn't like to be portrayed that way. Anyhow, at the end, that's why I was whispering, did you not like that story, Eliza? So a few minutes later, when we were about to leave the room, I went and talked to the tour guide, and I said, I just have this really strong feeling that Eliza doesn't like that story about the food. And as I said that, the REM pod went off in the other room to kind of confirm that Eliza doesn't like that story. As you're going to see through the rest of tonight's video, at the beginning, I didn't film a lot because I just didn't feel super comfortable doing that, but you're going to see we start to get a lot of responses to direct questions in the form of either the REM pod going absolutely nuts or, well, I'm not going to ruin the surprise, but the REM pod was definitely something that would kind of confirm things at times.
Apparently, there is a story that it winks. There's a moon on the face there, and the moon will wink at handsome men.
Oh, God.
Get in front of it.
It doesn't seem to be winking.
Aww.
Throughout the room. Also helps you to see where all your guests are if you're concerned about anything. But yes, that is a valuable piece as well. Any other
Interesting.
Yes. I have had activity around this mantle with cat balls. The cat ball went off, nobody was around, nobody was touching it.
Is there a cat ball on there?
There's a cat ball.
It's right there, yeah.
And we were like, whoa. And we started talking to it, if you're a soldier, could you light it up again? So we concluded that spirit was a friendly spirit and wanted us to be polite. Most of the spirits in the house are friendly. We don't really get that scary vibe. It really is just,
Loud, or can you just think?
There you go. So can you turn it off again for us? If you can, that'd be great. Thank you so much for dimming it for us. We really appreciate it. Thank you. Can you turn it back on? I see you trying. Can you do it again? Thank you so much. You're my best friend tonight. Thank you. Thank you. I know that you want to do it again? Go ahead. Show us what you can do. Awesome. You're the best. Thanks. That's so cool. Thank you.
Do you have to say it out loud, or can you just?
I don't know.
Do you want to try thinking it real quick?
Okay, I'll try.
Maybe if we all think real hard together.
Just gonna say it.
Yeah.
I think so.
Thank you so much for doing that for us. That was so cool.
Thank you.
You figure that out.
Just ask. I think you just have to ask. Yeah.
Are you Liza?
Right.
Yeah. Is this Eliza we're talking to? If it's Eliza, can you dim that light again for us? Okay. Are you one of the Morris family, maybe?
Are you a soldier? Maybe a Hessian soldier?
Maybe Steven.
Is this Mr. Burr by any chance? Just visiting? No.
Did you work here?
Yeah. Well, hopefully you'll tell us sometime tonight. That'd be awesome if we could figure out who you are, if you're still with us right now.
Wait, I think these lights are supposed to be off.
That's why. Not yet. I'll bring it up and we'll put it on. You can see that it actually works when somebody touches it. In the hallway, that way we can see it and hear it. So it's 1964. The house has been a museum since 1900. So it was run by the Daughters of the American Revolution. So basically it was Washington's headquarters. They really never talked about Gaza. But they had school groups that came in. We still do that. We have classes that come in for education. And this group had come in, and they come in the gates, and they were waiting in the front on the flagstones because the house was locked. There was nobody here yet. The docent, I'm not certain if it was a docent or a manager, hadn't arrived. The C train was late. It still happens. And so they're out there making a lot of noise, doing what kids do, running around, screaming. And so all of a sudden, out on the balcony, which is through that door, comes a woman dressed in black, who screams at them to shut the fuck up! And they go, oh my God. And so they get quiet. They go, oh my goodness, you know, we shouldn't be doing that. And finally the docent shows up and unlocks the door, and the teacher tells her that this woman, you know, in costume had come out and told her to be quiet. And she says, there's nobody here. I'm unlocking the doors. There's nobody here. We don't dress in costume. And so that was the lesson. When they come in, they do the tour. They're given the tour downstairs. Now that portrait used to be here, I think on this wall.
Yes.
And so as they come up the stairs, the children see the portrait and the teacher as well, and they go, "That's her. That's who was on the balcony." And this was reported in the newspapers. So if you want, you can go look at the newspaper of the ghost at Morris-Jumel Mansion.
I will add, most sightings are just one person. So you question, you know, did they dream it? Did they hallucinate? You know, did they see a flicker? But this is one instance where there was an entire group of 30 school children, and they all saw the same thing.
So now one of you said that you knew the story firsthand. Where are you?
It was just
So what did the person tell you that saw this?
It said that the Eliza, you know, the ghost came out and it just said shh.
Huh.
When they went into the building, there was a display case with the dress that the ghost had on, blue or purple or something like that.
There used to be mannequins standing in this room with a replica of one of Madame Jamel's gowns. What school was that?
She's from a Catholic school. They were like 8 to 10 years old, or 10 to 12. And there was so the bigger kids there were from a public school, like a junior high. We split it to two.
I will say, recently, like 2 months ago, we had somebody come back to visit, and they were one of the school children on the tour, and they verified, yes, this actually happened. I saw it with my own eyes. So that was very neat to actually meet somebody that experienced that.
It's great to have corroboration.
And they thought it was like a real person. They didn't think at that moment that it was a ghost.
Yes, they thought it was just somebody that was yelling at a staff member or something.
It's in costume, yeah.
Wow.
Well, so now we're going to split into the groups again.
So this is what we call the Burr room. It is Aaron Burr's bedroom. But it is also where Stephen Jumel slept, and where Stephen Jumel was when he passed away.
Oh, the light went out.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. Hello. Are you here with us? If you're here with us, can you light it back up? Either that or the battery's dead. Can you show us? It's always the one on the right. Yeah, hi, come on back. Yeah, light that up for us. Thank you so much. We really appreciate that. Oh, did the battery die? Or did you do that? Can you show us? What do you think? I don't know. Is the battery dead?
Are you getting anything?
Oh, it's not. Hi. So you know who we didn't ask? Are you Mr. Jumel? Can you light it up if you're Mr. Jumel or a member of the Jumel family? Are you a soldier? I don't know if we'll figure out who you are today. Feel free to light it back up whenever you...
Are you Aaron Burr?
You can light it back up whenever you feel like it. You want to tell us more about the story? Maybe I'll light back up.
Sure. So I want to draw your attention to this chair. This chair is not period appropriate. So we were in the process of de-accessioning this chair. We were going to sell it. And we had a knock at the front door of a young man. He had just written some play, and he was writing a new play about the founding fathers, and we were like, what is this? So he said, you know, can I come here and get some inspiration? So clearly I'm talking about Lin-Manuel Miranda. And he came, and he wanted to sit in Burr's bedroom. And while he was here, he composed Aaron Burr, Sir, and In the Room Where It Happens. So he actually sat in the room where it happened to compose In the Room Where It Happened. So ever since Lin-Manuel sat here to compose parts of Hamilton, we get a ton of paranormal activity around this chair. So all of the sensors and everything would light up around this chair. Until one day, another man came and knocked at the door, a man by the name of Rudy Giuliani. And he wanted a tour of the house, and he wanted to sit in the chair where Hamilton was composed. And ever since then, we do not get any EMF activity.
Aww. Did Rudy take him with?
So it is possible to scare away the ghosts. If anybody would, it's probably him. So unfortunately, we don't get a whole lot of activity around the chair anymore. But we did decide to reaccession the chair, so we are going to keep it, even though it is not period appropriate. It now has cultural significance. So that is the story behind this chair.
And the light's coming back on.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, slightly, yeah. Huh. Good old Rudy. Scaring away those ghosts. Yeah, exactly. Who needs Ghostbusters?
I'm gonna let me find it.
The light's on again. Hi.
So weird.
So we have we do, let me see if I can find it. Okay. We do EVP recordings. So if you're familiar with EVP, it's electronic voice phenomena. We record just what's happening in the room, and then we play it back. And oftentimes when you play it back, the previous recording, you will hear things. So let me see if I can play you a recording that was made in this room. Okay. So let's see. Hopefully it's connected. So this was, somebody was playing music, sitting in this chair, and when we play it back, it sounds like we hear some voice. So I'll let you determine that. Let's see if anything's wrong. Did you hear that?
Yes.
Washington room? Yeah, that's.
Okay. Let's see if we can do it again. So listen, it's very quick. But when they heard this in the moment, they did not hear anything. So they only heard that sound, that voice, when they replayed it. So let's try it one more time. See if anything's wrong.
Should we go to Washington room? Yeah, that's.
So does anybody hear anything? What do you hear?
I hear two things
What do you
actually.
hear?
I hear like a whispery sound,
Uh-huh.
and then I hear like almost a cat sound.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
I think it says we like you. Somebody thought it said we don't like you. So it's up to your interpretation. We will hopefully get some time to do some EVP recording later on when we're downstairs. Does anybody have any questions about this room?
This room is cooler than the other
It is
rooms.
cooler, yeah.
Does it have more ventilation in this room, maybe?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, is there a radiator in this room?
Don't see one yet.
I don't know.
Yeah, because the other rooms definitely have the heat being pumped in.
Probably that's why they have the fireplace here, so that if it gets too cold, they can use it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I haven't heard that before, but definitely, you know, oh, the REM-pod's going off.
The baby likes this, right?
Aw,
Like,
Yeah.
that's cool.
like, the feet are just they're like more like swooping. I mean,
Wow.
maybe I think the baby's a Hamilton fan.
Maybe.
Or a Rudy fan.
Yeah.
Oh my.
Yeah, it keeps going. Make sure it's screwed in all the way.
It is screwed in. It is. Oh.
Oh, okay.
I did that.
Okay.
Sorry. I will debunk it. But yes, this is. Okay.
All right, let's see.
It was tight. It was screwed on the whole way. So it
Yeah, and it's
wasn't
going
like
dim
anything.
again. Yeah.
Oh wow, it is. Oh, look at it.
Yeah. It's been doing a lot
Yeah.
while you were talking too. Yep. Yeah, so you're here with us, whoever you are. Yeah. Thank you so much for visiting with us tonight.
Last week we had a lot of activity around this mirror, so I don't know if anyone wants to use their EMF detector around the mirror. It was something with this chest of drawers had all the lights going on. Not much tonight?
Mm-mm.
Okay. They come when they want and they hang out where they want. So, just fun facts. There used to be a door here in this wall. So the men and the women would have separate bedrooms, but then they had a little doorway so that they could visit each other. So this would have been Stephen's. This would have been Stephen's room, but actually I don't know who had the doorway. The Morrises? It must have been the Morrises that had the doorway. And so one would have slept in this room and one would have slept next door. Yeah.
Hi.
I think it was.
How are you?
After Jabel's death.
Thank you so much
when
for coming.
Her daughter's husband was living there with his.
Can you turn that back
wife.
off?
They slept in these two rooms, I think.
Can you turn it off for me?
And they
I
lived in a
see.
communicating-
The Chase, or William Inglis, or Nelson Chase?
Nelson Chase.
Nelson Chase was
Right.
over there and his wife was here.
Yeah.
Okay,
Or
so
vice
there we go.
versa.
Okay, so that's where that door came in. We had a
Okay.
lot last week, so
Oh, wow.
I don't know what's going on over there.
And it does feel colder in this corner.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, the light just went back off.
Okay.
Okay, so we're gonna go to.
Very warm in here.
Very warm in here.
Yeah, I think there's a heater there.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, so this is Eliza's bedchamber, and the dowsing rods are on the floor here, so just watch your step. What we do, and Stephen Jamel slept in, and that this was hers. And then, of course, when Aaron Burr was here, that was his as well. There has been activity in here. This room was redone about 2.5 years ago, or was it 3 years ago? It was reinterpreted, so everything had been taken out. All the furniture, all the carpeting, everything had been taken out to be redone, reinterpreted is how we phrase it here. So all new. They brought the carpeting in first, and they heard a big crash as they come running up here. And the lamp that was in that corner had fallen, but not only fallen, but fallen so hard that the shade was shattered into a million little pieces.
Hmm.
And if you just knock over that lamp in the corner, if you were to do it now, it might break in half, but it's not going to shatter into a million pieces. It also looked like it had been moved from where it had been originally, so it's sort of thrown. So we decided that it was Eliza who did not like the carpeting.
Mm-hmm.
She did not approve. That's a possibility. A medium who was here also told us she didn't like the fabric that was used for the hangings here. It took a while for all of us to get used to it too, because it had looked so different before. There have also been, during other paranormal investigations, knocks, bangs from upstairs where the attic is. And the area where it happens is where there is really no place for any person to be. So, what was it? We have cannonballs up there. Perhaps somebody was rolling the cannonballs around. We don't know. But it's happened a number of times. I've heard it on one of the investigations that I attended.
Wow.
Yeah, it's weird, right?
Okay. I'm not doing a thing. What is that about?
So, if there's somebody here,
Is there someone here?
you can cross those rods.
Cross the rods if there is someone here.
So it may not necessarily be Eliza. If there is somebody who is here, are you a woman? Are you a man? I can't see
That's
the
my
one.
daughter.
I can't see the, I can't
I
see.
did not do anything in it.
Yeah, okay. Now, Eliza always claimed that that bed belonged to Empress Josephine.
She knows how it went right to
The bed?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
I did not do that. The minute I touched it, it flew that way. And
So
I'm
Eliza,
not doing a thing.
Eliza, did you knew Joseph Napoleon? Is that correct? Cross those rods.
Okay, I did not do that.
Whoever is here, all of these boxes that we all have,
Mm-hmm.
you can light them up. Or the cat ball behind me, or those candles. You can touch them to let us know that you're here.
Back from the future, everybody. So at this stage, I should probably share that in my family, the ability to sense and feel things and sometimes see things is a family trait. It's not something I talk about a lot because I don't want people to think I'm crazy. But yes, I am an empath. I can feel a lot of things, but specifically, I sense a lot of things through touch. I can see things. Sometimes I've smelled things that aren't there, phantom smells when certain family members have visited, things like that. So I'm sharing that because there was quite a lot going on in the space at the Jumel Mansion, where you're about to see in this bedroom where there's a question asked. It clearly indicated that I would be somebody that could communicate with folks who have passed over. And that was really interesting.
Oh, wow, look at that.
Okay. Is there somebody in this room living who you can communicate with? Point to that person.
Is it pointing at me? I can't tell.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised.
It's also pointing at you.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I did say I was a non-believer.
You're a non-believer, yeah.
Do either of you guys sense any presences?
I do generally, yeah. I don't feel it as strong as when we first walked in though. Yeah, it's like dissipated a little bit.
I kind of felt like a hug almost.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I felt fine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, I feel what I usually feel in this room, which is accepted and you know, welcome.
Hmm.
Always.
And it's going off like crazy, right?
Yeah, right here.
No,
Is that going off? Oh, whoa. Whoa.
We're all going off.
Oh.
Sorry, that was me.
Yeah.
That was not a ghost.
But your thing going off is. Wait, it's still going off. It likes you.
Maybe it likes her.
Probably. Oh. You in here with me?
Yes, this is the room.
Oh, here we go again.
So this is what's called George Washington's War Room. And it is interpreted to reflect that with the map and telescope. Washington was a surveyor before he was a soldier, when he was a very young man. So hence the telescope. This room would have been also used by the British officers and General Clinton. And General Clinton's aide-de-camp was John Andre. I don't know if you know anything about John Andre. He was obviously British. He was aide-de-camp to the British General. But he later on was hanged as a spy. He was caught with papers that he was taking from West Point down the river. Now, this is part of the Benedict Arnold plot, actually.
Candle
But
just
he's
went off
caught
again.
and he's hanged.
The third, yeah, that candle, the right one, just went off again.
We think that because he's aide-de-camp to Clinton, he would have been there as well. And he was an interesting man, and the Patriots were very reluctant to execute him. Washington was firm, though, because he wanted to make an example of catching this spy, even though he was a gentleman. And he asked, before he was executed, to be shot rather than hanged, because that's how a gentleman was executed, being shot. But they refused, Washington refused, and he was hung. This room usually has a lot more activity than many of the other rooms. If you think about it, this house was occupied by officers and generals for the entire war. There were battles all around. The Battle of Harlem Heights was fought, not that far south from here. And there was the Battle of Harlem Heights, which had the Knittin's Rangers. They were the special sort of corps of men who knew the terrain and knew how to handle the kind of fighting that they were facing. So they were brought in, and the Virginia Regiment came to support. And they went out to the battlefield which was about 20 blocks south of here, and it was where Columbia University is now, if anybody's in New York or you know where that is. And Moulton himself was killed, and his right-hand man, Leach, was also killed, and they were buried on the property. And there's two stories, either Moulton was disinterred and taken to his home in Virginia, or he's still here. Now you are going crazy.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mhm. Do you have your phone on airplane mode?
Yeah.
Okay. I've always felt Andre here. Always. And so there were probably many burials here. There were many deaths. There had to be over a 7-year period. And if any of them were officers, they may well have been brought into this house for either recovery or perhaps passed away here. If you've ever watched the Holzer Files, and they came here and did a show, and the Holzer Files, the original, and Hans Holzer was doing investigations in the 1960s, and this is one of the places he came, and he recorded them all. And he had a medium, a psychic medium, who would go into a trance and who would then say what she was sensing. And so on that show, the Holzer Files, which was a recreation of and an investigation, a second investigation here, apparently this medium said that she was getting the message, "She buried me alive." Well, that was taken to mean that Eliza buried Stephen Juneau alive, because that was the story at the time, that she had unwrapped his bandages after his accident and allowed him to bleed out. So that was just a story. We don't believe that at all. But this is what this medium then comes up with, that buried me alive. I've always thought that it was somebody else who was here on the premises or nearby who was interred, perhaps not alive, but had died so suddenly that he didn't know that he was dead.
Oh, and you came back on.
Okay.
Sorry, because you're going upstairs.
Yeah, so we're gonna go upstairs. I know we're getting lots of here. We're running a little late. Okay.
Thank you so much for
I
coming and
hope you
seeing
all
us.
don't mind if we run late.
And now nothing.
Try to take this time.
Yeah. Okay.
Here's where we can see out. Because often we get out over here.
Oh.
You see this well.
Why is the one on the right already flickering like that? Holy moly.
Let me tighten it up. all
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Okay, there.
Okay.
You have a cat ball in here.
That's, yeah. Awesome.
All right, so this is a trigger object. So in front of this lamp, this is a cannonball. I told you there were cannonballs up here. This is one that was, and they were all found on the grounds. And so this is I think it's a 6-pounder. So they had, the cannons were different diameters in their barrels. And so this is one that was probably shot, it was certainly British, it wasn't American, because the American armaments were not as nice. This is perfect. Of course, the Americans, they just melted everything down, and so they were not like this. So this was a British cannonball. This attic is not really an attic. The rooms are full rooms. You've got one here, and you've got one here, and one here. These two share a fireplace, We think that when the Morrises built this house, that it might have been meant for the 2 preteen boys, because they had 4 kids, 2 boys and 2 girls. It's quite possible, because this is fancier than it would have been for servants or enslaved people. When Eliza was here, it would likely have been used for the servants. But we don't really know. There's no documentation of anything. Now, during one paranormal investigation, I think it was about a year and a half ago, there was a docent who was giving the tour. I'm going to find the photo. And she was telling a story, and the lights were flickering, so one of them has gone off already. And she was standing right here where I am now. And this is hard to see. I'm going to enlarge the photo. If you look at this door, it is matte. It will pick up shadows, but there was nobody standing in front of it. She was standing here, and there was somebody over there. And there was an image that was captured on this photograph, so you can take a look.
Wow.
So, yeah, it's on the door, so see if you see what we saw. Because I took the photo, so I'd taken a number of photos, and
Oh, wow.
this is the only one where we see this. And we told you the story about the Hessian soldiers. There were plenty of Hessian soldiers in and around the property. I'll show you what the Hessians looked like. Look at the headgear.
Wow.
And if you compare it to the photograph. And now Adrian, who was the person in the photo, telling the story, always jokingly called the Hessian soldier her boyfriend. And this is where we always hear footsteps when there's nobody up here. I've heard it, I don't know, 5 or 6 times, when down on the 2nd floor, and all of a sudden, I mean, it's clear. It's absolutely clear. And this is also the area where one of the former employees who worked here as the program manager was in her office, which is in there. And the door is open, and she's doing some work. And this is during the beginning of the pandemic, and everybody's wearing masks. And if you're in a room by yourself, you take it off, of course, we know that. But she heard somebody coming up the stairs, and there was one other person working here. And so she puts her mask on because she thinks Meg is coming up. And she looks out, and she sees a shadow go by, and she goes, "Oh, I'm so sorry." And nobody answers. And then Meg, you know, about 5 minutes later comes to the door, and Meg, they were both named Meg. Meg says, "Oh, I heard you before. Weren't you up here earlier?" And she said, "No, I just came up the stairs." So Meg saw a shadow person. Wow. And many of the former employers in the last iteration have seen shadow figures go by. And in that room, chairs will move by themselves. I've never seen that, but I've heard the stories. So any questions for anybody who might have been up here?
Can you turn that light back on? Keep turning them off.
Well, the left one is...
Yeah, the left one was off. Now it's coming back on.
It's on again, yeah. Yes, and that was happening on that day during when that photo was taken also. The light was going on and off and on and off.
Do you like when people come visit? Can you turn one of those lights off if you like when people come visit?
Yeah.
You do? That's awesome.
Great.
Aww.
Ooh. Thank you, that's really nice. Can you turn on any of these boxes? You can touch these boxes and they'll light up too. If you like lighting things up.
Yeah, they're fun.
And there's a ball in that little basket thing right there.
Yeah, it makes lots of colors.
You can touch that, yeah. All right.
What's that little door?
Over there.
Yeah.
That's like a utility space or crawl space. Yeah.
Space into use.
So, yeah, so that's, there's cannonballs in there. There are cannonballs in there.
Cannonballs everywhere.
Well, so we found some that we didn't know were there about 8 months ago, and they didn't know they were there, and they're big ones. The big ones that have that were used, they would put the gunpowder inside. So they had to call experts to come and ensure that they were not dangerous.
Right. Yeah.
All right, so we're going to go down because we are out of time.
Wow.
Another thing I want to do.
Cool.
Does anyone want to try these?
Like the kind of study chair, you split it up, then it'll flip back over.
That's right, it's a table, it's a desk.
Do you think that the spirits living in this house would be happy to be here?
Why wouldn't they? It's a beautiful house.
That's
You
kind of how
know.
it works. Like, do they want to be here? Do they want to go on?
I mean,
Oh, so that's it.
we could ask them. I mean, yeah, maybe. I mean, I don't know. Maybe we would do the EVP. They could probably tell us better than the candles. You know.
Oh, moon maneuver.
It's a, no, it's a button, I'm sorry, it's a button.
Oh wow.
So
Me
this
too.
is what we call the chase room. We also believe that this is the room that George Washington would have slept in because it is the most protected from attack from the British. Because the river's over there and the British are down there. So this is sort of protected. When you're outside, you can see it's easily defended. But this is the Chase room because of Nelson Chase, who was Eliza's son-in-law, essentially. And also his son, William Inglis, later on. When Eliza died, her will was contested by the two in that portrait because she didn't leave anything to the boy, to the grandson, because he'd married, he'd eloped with a girl she did not approve of. So she left nothing to him. She left something to Eliza, the girl. Now they're already married. By the time she died, the two of them are married with their own small families. And she died and she leaves some to Eliza and most of it to charities in the neighborhood. And so the will is contested immediately by Nelson Chase, their father. And it takes 17 years, and finally the will is settled so that the two do get the estate. So this is Nelson Chase's room. This is the room that I don't like. We came in, 4 of us, we sat on the floor, and she was getting information from a young woman with a flower name who had been here in the house and had been treated extremely badly by somebody, a male. And it sort of jives with that story of the maidservant who worked here during that period, who perhaps committed suicide. Again, we don't have any proof of that, but then the medium, who doesn't know the story of the house at this point, tells us this. So there's, and again, I don't like this room. It's the only room that feels, and so usually we don't get much activity in here either. Are you getting anything?
Well, right over here, there's yeah, right, just this water pitcher.
Okay.
It's the water pitcher, yeah. And what's painted on there?
I don't know.
Because we can't. It's hard to see in the dark.
Looks like some flowers.
Yeah, it's flowers. I mean, I wonder if her name.
Yes, so flowers, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe because you're telling the story and I'm empathizing with this woman.
Mm-hmm.
My fingers are pulsating.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Like, for the first time.
With the, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Holding this. It could be psychosomatic.
Well, whoever you are, we are sorry that that happened to you. That somebody treated you so badly that perhaps you can't let go. And I always wonder what your name actually is. Was it Daisy? Was it Rose? Was it Fleur? Anybody here can touch this book?
Here. Make this light up.
None of them have gone off so far that I know of, at least not in others.
Lily.
Occasionally we'll put one out while we're working in the shop, and, for no reason, we'll start.
Is it Rose? Stop complaining about if your name is Rose.
This space, as you just heard on the recording, would have been a busy place, probably the busiest space of the house. We're sitting in this little room here, but this floor of the house does have the same footprint as the floor above us. So you can walk back through the octagon room, you have all this huge hallway. We have it, just in this room, but you can imagine that the kitchen area would have been this whole downstairs basement. So laundry and, cleaning and everything would have happened down here. We don't have a lot of documentation about the people that would have been in this room. We know a lot about the people the wealthy people in the gold frames upstairs, but those who would have worked in this space, we don't know many of their names. So the servants, the enslaved people from the Morris family, their names are not told very frequently. If we do find the name of someone in a letter or something, we are, super ecstatic. And I'll let Karen tell you about that. She's going to tell you about some of the specifically named people who would have used this space.
So when the Morris family were here, certainly, probably the predominant workforce, if you want, here would have been enslaved people. We know that that's where her money comes from, and we do know that they had at least 4 enslaved people with them in this house. It may have been many more. There is one name that we have from the Morris family period, and that's Martha. Now, Martha Morris was here when George Washington came with his troops. We know this because a receipt was found at the Library of Congress by somebody who was working here. They found this receipt that was for the laundering of the general's linens. And it had what it would have cost, and it had the name at the bottom, done by Martha Morris. Now, that is not a family member, and they certainly wouldn't have left anybody here. So we have to assume, and it is an assumption, but we do think that that was an enslaved person that was left here when Mary went up to her family home. We have letters that Roger wrote to Mary while he was 2 years in England and she was here. And he mentions Martha, that Mary was very upset that she lost her Martha. He also mentions Cuba as another enslaved person who apparently Mary did not have the use of anymore. Cuba is an interesting name because at that time you could not purchase slaves in this country, only in the islands, and Cuba was the main slave trading post. So often enslaved people were called the Cubans. So that is one story. We have also later on in 1841 the story of Anne Northup. And she was was a cook here for about a year and a half. And Anne was the wife of a freed black man. She was a woman of color, free woman of color, and they had 3 children. And Eliza invited her to come work here after her husband disappeared one day. She was an excellent cook up in Saratoga Springs, but she probably was financially in straits. So she comes here as Eliza's cook, and the reason her husband disappeared was not because he ran away or died, it's because he was kidnapped into slavery, and he was Solomon Northup of 12 Years a Slave. So Anne was here, and she would have cooked meals in this hearth with this oven. And we don't know that the oven entrance was over here, we think it was over there, but still, it was the oven for baking the goods that she did once a week. And something that happened to many women, if you look at the hearth and where the fire would have been, it was dangerous work. And a lot of women at that time, enslaved people and servants and just women in general who were working at fireplaces, their skirts would catch on fire and they would die or be horribly burned. So this is the kind of work that they had to do, and that this is the area where they would have done the laundry. There would have been wash tubs. There was a place to keep the dairy. It was probably a cool room down here. It was a very large space, and we also think that the enslaved people of the Morris family would have slept down here, or perhaps in outbuildings. That we don't really know. Electronic voice phenomena, and you do a recording, ask questions. So we want you to think of some questions to ask of anybody at all that we've talked about. And she will be recording, and it will perhaps pick up responses that we can't hear with our ears, that only the recorder can hear. So think of your questions.
If any of you have done the dowsing rods, those had to be yes or no questions. These do not have to be yes or no. So you can ask open-ended questions and see if you hear any response. Okay. This is Kimberly. It is October 29th, and we are in the kitchen. So feel free to ask your questions as they come to you. We will play this recording back as afterwards.
Is there anyone here?
What was Aaron Burr's favorite meal?
What is your name?
Do you know anybody who died here while cooking or cleaning or doing any household chores that the world doesn't know about?
Okay, let's play it back. Let's see if This is Kimberly. It is October 29th, and we are in the kitchen. So feel free to ask your questions as they come to you. We will play this recording back as afterwards.
Is there anyone here?
What was Aaron Burr's favorite meal?
What is your name?
Do you know anybody who died here while cooking or cleaning or doing any household chores that the world doesn't know about?
let's play it one more time. This is Kimberly. It is October 29th, and we are in the kitchen. So feel free to ask your questions as they come to you. We will play this recording back as afterwards.
Is there anyone here?
What was Aaron Burr's favorite meal?
What is your name?
Do you know anybody who died here while cooking or cleaning or doing any household chores that the Lord doesn't know about?
Okay, let's play it back. And let's see.
But I don't know, would it be better if there was little to no interference, like if we can't get good reception for the radio stations, you get better reception for what's going on in the room?
So you do it, so,
Okay.
so what you hear, is like white noise, and
It's this noise, and then you,
ask questions and see if
you
you have anything.
it scans. So I'll put it at like, it's usually, let me see if I can turn it up. That's as loud as it goes. I don't even do anything.
Wow.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it does, it usually doesn't do it.
I never heard that before.
Is that typical?
No.
No, it's not typical.
All right, so.
In your
Nothing, huh?
okay.
Because normally it's just a.
Right, and then your voice is if sometimes, yeah. Yeah. Correct. Correct. Yeah.
Nobody wants to talk.
Yeah.
Well, it's right next to the lantern, so maybe that's what
It wasn't doing that.
It wasn't doing it before though.
No, mine was even, and mine before this, it went over the red.
It's never gone that fast before either.
Mhm.
Do you want to try it again?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's gone again.
Look, see,
They're all going out.
I can't even control the speed.
And see, mine's not. Yours isn't going off either.
mine is going crazy.
Yeah. Is there somebody here?
If somebody here, let it stop. Mine is going, this is going crazy now.
We can't hear your voice when you do that.
Can you slow it down?
No, it's not letting me.
No, I mean, can they slow it down?
That's like a tap dancing.
Yeah.
Whoa, we're at 9:24.
Okay.
So do we want to try it out? It's strange. Okay. Hi, this is Karen. We're in the kitchen. It's October 29th. So my question is, are there any soldiers still here? Can you tell me your name?
What is your favorite space in the house?
Are you trapped in the house?
Were you buried on the property?
Do you remember your last year in this house?
Okay, let's see what we get.
So let's watch the. Hi, this is Karen. We're in the kitchen, it's October 29th.
That's me putting one thing down.
So my question is, are there any soldiers still here?
There's something there.
Let me put it back.
Hi, this is Karen. We're in the kitchen, it's October 29th. So my question is, are there any soldiers still here? Can you tell me?
I feel like I heard a yes.
Yes, yeah. There's a couple. It's like a male voice, like whispering something.
Yeah. What is your favorite space in the house?
Are you trapped in the house?
Were you buried on the property?
Do you remember your last year in this house?
Okay, let's see what we get.
Somebody moving. On top of that, there was something.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it was again a male voice. Wow. But we can't figure out what they're saying.
I know. Unfortunately, that's going to be all we have time for tonight.
Oh, we could stay here until like 2 in the morning.
Yeah. So we are going to go back upstairs. We ask that you bring your EMF detectors. You can go ahead and turn them off, and we'll have you put them in the box. We will have the gift shop open if you're interested in exploring what we have to offer today.
Goodbye. Goodbye. It was nice seeing you. Goodbye. It's nice seeing you. Thank you for joining us tonight. Good night. I'll see you soon. Okay, so let me just unpack some of what just happened. Yeah, so one thing that I wasn't able to talk about is when I went down the stairs to the basement, all of a sudden I felt as if somebody had grabbed me around the throat. I was pressing on my windpipe here, and it was suddenly very hard for me to breathe. And I asked the tour guide, I said, what happened down here? Anyway, the entire time I was in the basement, it felt like there was pressure around my neck the entire time. One other thing that happened, and I told this to the tour guide upon leaving, just so they can kind of check some things out. The name Lily came to me in the bedroom with the girl's flower name. So I told her to go ahead and check that out. It's a very, very interesting night. And I just told the spirits, please do not follow me home. I mean, after all, I do live in the same neighborhood as them. I'll come back and see them soon. I hope you enjoyed tonight. I sure did. Happy Halloween, everybody.